Good morning, and welcome to the pre-show of SCE's annual Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. I'm your pre-event host, Sarah Wang. I am the owner, founder, and principal planner at My Wedding Songbird. We're located in Arcadia, and we specialize in Chinese American weddings and events. Also, thank you Lumiere Couture Bridal for sponsoring my beautiful outfit for today. They're an Asian woman-owned business specializing in Asian fusion gowns and dresses. Make sure to support them. This is my first appearance at this event, and I'm so excited to be here to celebrate with you. Thank you for joining us this morning to celebrate such an important occasion. The theme this year is Solidarity and Resilience, honoring our history, forging a future together. With the pandemic and all the Asian hate that has plagued the nation these past months, it is important that we all work together to support one another during these unprecedented times and unite to build a stronger future. Unfortunately, we cannot celebrate in person, but Edison did not want to miss an opportunity to celebrate the many accomplishments of Asian American Pacific Islander and their contributions in the community. For the next 20 minutes, we will be showcasing some delicious recipes of some favorite dishes. Food is something that truly unites all cultures and brings people together. You know, when Asians and Pacific Islanders have a celebration, you can definitely expect a buffet of all types of food that covers multiple tables and countertops. And where do people gravitate to at a party? Of course, the food. And speaking of food, you will be hungry after this segment, so if you're not following along with the cooking, you may want to order some lunch from local restaurants. Support! We all know how challenging it has been for small businesses during this pandemic, and that is why we are sharing a list of Asian-owned restaurants in the San Gabriel Valley on the event website. We will go ahead and add that link to the chat, and we encourage you to check them out today or sometime soon. One of my favorite restaurants is Icho Izakaya in Rosemead. They have all my favorite food, yakitori, sashimi, hot pot, all in one place. All their ingredients are really fresh, and they have top-notch customer service as well. 5 stars for me. What is yours? If you have a favorite restaurant recommendation, please let us know in the chat. And now, I would like to introduce our first cooking demo with Brian Choi, technical specialist who works at the Food Service Technology Center at SCE. Brian helps to evaluate and test commercial food service equipment such as ovens, fryers, and induction cooktops. If an appliance is energy efficient, he helps get it qualified for rebates. He also participates in the outreach and education to restaurants, hotels, and more, advising them on high-efficiency food service equipment. If you want any help with your restaurant, let Brian know in the chat. Brian is a graduate from California State University, Los Angeles, with bachelor's degree in industrial technology and business administration. Brian will be cooking up some fried fish and fried rice using an induction wok. Yummy! Now, who knew that there was an induction wok? I'm really interested to see how that works. So, without further ado, let's check out Brian's skills.
Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. As Sarah mentioned, my name is Brian Choi here at Southern California Edison's Food Service Technology Center here in Irwindale, California. Today I'm going to be showcasing some of our induction wok units. We'll be cooking some whole fried sea bream as well as some Chinese sausage fried rice. So let's go ahead and get started. This is our tabletop induction unit. This is something you can find on Amazon. Anybody can have it. Plugs into your simple wall outlet at home. It's designed for a wok, so as you can see, it's got a concave surface to cradle the wok. Now, the thing with induction is that induction is a little bit different than gas or your more conventional resistive coil electric in that it turns the pan itself into the heating source. So therefore, it is more efficient it gets hotter faster, and you can exhibit a lot more control. So what I have here is a wok with some fry oil, and I have had it preheated, and it's holding at about 350 degrees. Now it can hold here pretty much indefinitely. The sensors and technology in the wok unit itself will allow it to hold a steady temperature, so you actually don't have to worry about monitoring the temperature itself too much. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take some ginger and we're going to fry that up a little bit. And what I'm trying to do here is to just caramelize the ginger a bit. We're going to use that as a topping later on, and we're going to also kind of infuse that ginger flavor into the oil itself. Alrighty, it's pretty much there already. So we're going to go ahead and pull them out. And then we're going to do some skein to some green onions or scallions. Get them nice and crispy. Again, infusing more flavor into that oil. Now, because I've added a little bit of stuff to this, the oil temperature has dropped a little bit, but this is actually going to sense that, and it's actually going to adjust for it. So it's sending more heat, and it's getting this back up to temperature. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to recover. In the meantime, this is our fish. It's a nice sea bream that's been trimmed, descaled, salted, and then patted dry. So it's good to go. And we're going to go ahead and then just place it in. Now this will take about 7 minutes or so, but we're going to watch it carefully just to make sure nothing burns. So it's been about 3-4 minutes, about halfway, and just to make sure it gets even more even cooking, we're going to go ahead and flip it. And while this is bubbling away, I'm going to go ahead and just talk a little bit more about this induction unit. As you can see, this is set to 400 degrees. Now the oil is actually closer to 350. And that has just to do with how you have to adjust your settings once. Once you've dialed it in, then it'll stay there for as long as you need it to. But there might be some need for adjustment early on. Now this unit has a couple different features. It has 3 power levels at 600 watts, 900 watts, and 1500 watts. Because I have a lot of oil in here, I have it at max power. And you can set a timer if you want. I am not currently using that function. But you can also just adjust the temperature, as you can see like I did right there. So this unit will let you do anything timed, it'll let you hold, it'll let you control power, and you'll see that level of control with a lot of induction units, be it a wok or a full-on induction range. That's going to all have very similar controls. That's one of the main benefits you're going to see with induction versus gas or other electric resistor technology, because you get a lot more control. Another thing I'm going to show you real quick is I'm going to go ahead and lift the wok. It's going to beep at me right there. That's saying that it no longer detects the pan. And when it does that, it's actually going to turn off immediately. Okay, so this is nicely deep fried. We got a good color on it, nice, good golden brown. It's got a good texture to it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out for a second. Oh, and doesn't that look delicious? So we've taken the most of the oil out of the wok. We're just gonna put a little bit more back in. This is gonna be infused with all the flavor of the fish, the ginger, and the scallions. We're gonna go actually first crank this up to, let's say 500. Give it a second to get a little bit hotter. It's already starting to steam and smoke. So we're gonna add a little bit of cooking wine. Some soy sauce mixed with some sugar and some chili oil. Give that a mix. I'm going to cook off most of the wine. Alrighty. Alright, that sauce is looking pretty good, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn this off. We're gonna go ahead and sauce our fried fish and garnish it with some of the ginger we fried up earlier and those crispy scallions. And there we are. All right, so to go with our fish, we're gonna go ahead and make some fried rice. Now this is a different unit. This is gonna be a more of a commercial unit. This is our drop-in wok unit. So as you can see, it's pretty much the same. It's a concave cooktop that'll fit the wok nicely. Now this one being a commercial unit is far more powerful. It's gonna be about 2 to 3 times as powerful as the last unit we saw. So this requires a little bit more control, but at the same time gives you a lot more power and speed. And I'll show you how fast. This wok is currently cold. It's room temperature, cool to the touch. I'm gonna turn this on to max power. I'm gonna put in the oil, and you will see that the oil will instantly start to shimmer and run, showing that it is already hot. And to that, I'm going to add our Chinese sausage, kind of a lot of it to be really. And I'm going to actually have to turn it down just because this unit is so powerful. To the sausage, I'm going to add some scallion, leaving the tops for garnishing. And as you can see, it is so hot, it's already starting to singe a little bit. So that's how quick you can get heat with induction. Now that that's starting to go, I'm gonna go ahead and add my rice. This is day-old rice. And we're gonna go ahead and mix that in. Now that that's starting to heat up and cook, I'm gonna add our seasoning. Now this is my preferred blend. It's got a little bit of oyster sauce, a little bit of soy, a little bit of white pepper, and a little bit of ground ginger, and some sesame oil. This is gonna give us a lot of flavor and a little bit of color. Now I know there's a lot of myths out there talking about how induction doesn't get hot enough as gas or whatnot, and that's, as you can see, simply not true, because I actually have to work constantly to make sure this doesn't burn. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more because I do not want to burn it. Okay, I think we're gonna add a little bit more of the seasoning. I'm gonna add some peas and some carrots, a little bit of veg, a little bit of color, and a little bit of texture. Now we're gonna add our egg, make a well in the middle, and add the egg. And then time to fold it all in. And as you can see, we have ourselves some nice Chinese pork fried rice. We're gonna get it a few scallion tops to garnish, and there we are. So we have ourselves here some fried rice and some nice deep fried sea bream. I hope you enjoyed our demo today. There is nothing quite like sharing a meal to bring people together. And when you get a chance to safely do so, go out and experience a meal, maybe something you've never tried before, with friends and family, because there's nothing that really quite brings together our past and our future like our food. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you, Brian, for that cool demo of induction wok. It looks like it is really easy to use, and it really keeps the temperature throughout the entire cooking process. I don't know about you, but that fried fish scene just looks very satisfying. If you feel the same, type +1 in the chat. And amen to that day-old rice. That's how fried rice should be done, am I right? Now, for our second cooking demonstration, we have Trent, author of 2 cookbooks, The Little Book of Asian Noodles and Asian Cooking Made Easy. Lauren authored her books to share her love for Asian culture, food, and cooking with other food enthusiasts. Lauren will be showing us how to make several types of Vietnamese summer rolls. I love summer rolls, so I am excited to watch this demo. Let's watch Lauren's work.
Thank you, Sarah, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Tran from Asian Cookbooks. I am the author of The Little Book of Asian Noodles and Asian Cooking Made Easy. My family and I came to the United States as refugees. We escaped Vietnam on a small fishing boat when the country fell to communism in 1975, and the U.S. welcomed us with open arms. We then opened the first Vietnamese restaurant in Denver called Saigon Restaurant, and went on to own other restaurants in Colorado and Southern California. Growing up in the family restaurant business instilled in me a hearty passion for food and cooking. I wrote my cookbooks in order to share my love and enthusiasm for Asian food, cooking, and culture. I'm going to show you how to make 2 kinds of summer rolls. They're refreshing, healthy, and tasty salad rolls. The first roll that we're going to make is the traditional Vietnamese summer rolls with shrimp and pork to be served with a hoisin peanut sauce. And the second roll we're going to make is the grilled beef and shrimp summer rolls to be served with the Vietnamese dipping sauce. Then the third dish that I'm going to show you how to make is this really tasty and easy rocket shrimp rolls. They're like spring rolls, but their only filling is the humongous shrimp, and they're shaped like rockets. We're going to serve them with the sweetened chili sauce that can be found at any Asian markets or online, such as Amazon. So what I have here is some rice paper. This is my favorite brand of rice paper, the Three Ladies brand. I like them because they're thin, but they're pliable, and they don't break easily. So what I'm going to do is soak it in some warm water. Just make sure that the water touches the whole rice paper, going around twice. Don't worry that it's not completely soft yet. It will be in a few seconds. So we start out with lettuce, okay, and then some herbs, mint, cilantro, and some cinnamon basil or Thai basil. On top, I will put some carrots, pickled carrots and daikon, a little bit of rice noodles. The trick to rolling tight summer rolls is don't put all the filling in before you start to roll. Put some fillings in, roll. You can also put some filling in the front like this, then you would receive the same effect. So I'm putting the shrimp down, skin side down. Okay, and start rolling from the bottom, like that. And on top, I will have a piece of cucumber and pork. So this acts like an anchor. And I'm going to fold on the side. Okay, and pull it in. Okay, and start rolling. And at the end, tuck in some chives, Asian chives, but leaving it sticking out the end a little bit. And roll. There we go. Vietnamese summer rolls. And now I'm going to show you how to make a super easy summer rolls. I have some grilled beef and shrimp, And we're going to make some grilled beef and shrimp summer rolls. So I also grilled the shrimp, cut it in half like this. I had tail on shrimp. There are two sides to the rice paper, the smooth side and the rough side. So put the smooth side outside. For this summer roll, I shredded or cut the lettuce into strips. I also chop all the herbs. So the mint, cilantro, thyme or cinnamon, basil, I chop them up. And then we will put some pickled carrots and daikon on top and a piece of cucumber. Then what I would do is I'm going to double up on the beef so it's a little more hearty. And I'm going to alternate it with the shrimp skin side out. There we go. Okay, and start rolling. Gonna roll this part, and at this point you can either add some more cucumber, but what I have here is a piece of plantain that I slice and soak in some water with lime juice to keep it from discoloration. So you can either put more cucumber or plantain, and we will start rolling. Okay, pull it in, roll it as tight as you can. There you go, grilled beef and shrimp summer roll. And the next dish that I'm going to show you is the rocket shrimp rolls. What I have here is a pound of extra large shrimp with the tail on, and I'm going to season it with a 1/4 teaspoon of chicken seasoning powder. I use Knorr, okay, and a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, a pinch of garlic powder, and a pinch of black pepper. Okay, and we'll just mix that up. There we go, and put it on the side. And now I will make the glue for the rolls. What I have here is a 1/2 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So I will add it and whisk it. Then I will microwave it for about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the power of your microwave, or you can also cook it on the stove until it is thick and translucent. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut some spring roll wrappers. They're sometimes called spring roll pastry, and they're thinner than the egg roll wrapper, so don't use the egg roll wrappers. And I'm going to cut it in half, okay, diagonally. And these are 8-inch spring roll wrappers, and you will need to keep them covered while you work or they will dry out. So I like to cover them with a piece of slightly damp paper towel. And now I will show you how to prepare the shrimp. Turn the shrimp on its stomach, make slanted cut like that, not all the way. Okay, and then turn it back on its back, gently push down. Don't do it too hard or you will break it. Okay, so what we did was we straightened out the shrimp. And what I would do is take 1 piece of the spring roll wrappers. Okay, cover it back up. And I will put the wrapper with the long side on my left, like that. And I will put the shrimp with the tail sticking out. And I'm gonna start rolling. I got to the top there, fold it over, and then remember the glue we made earlier? Thick and translucent. I will use it to seal the edges. There we go. There we go. Rocket shrimp rolls. And then we will deep fry them in preheated 350 degrees oil for about 6 minutes until golden brown. You can find the recipes for all 3 dishes, including how to make pickled carrots and daikon and the sauces on SCE website on the guest speakers page. Underneath my photo as the guest speaker is the small document icon where you can download and print the recipes. You can also find these recipes in my cookbooks, The Little Book of Asian Noodles and Asian Cooking Made Easy, available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. Or you can get signed copies from me by sending me an email at asiancookbooks@yahoo.com. What better way to connect with your loved one than through food? Call your family, friends, and neighbors. Have a DIY summer roll party. Have your marinated beef, chicken, and shrimp, and grill them right on the table. You can even have a whole baked salmon and add other favorite ingredients such as bean sprouts and plantain. Let your guests choose their own ingredients and make their own rolls as we celebrate SCE AAPI Heritage Month. We are resilient and stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters to honor our history and forge a future together. So have fun and roll away. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Lauren, for showing us how to make Vietnamese summer rolls and for inspiring us with your story. I don't know about you, but I would love to have some right now. It looks so good. I also didn't know you were supposed to put in more ingredients as you roll out the rice paper. That's definitely something new here for me. Thank you so much to both Brian and Lauren for joining us today and cooking up some delicious dishes. Not only did I learn some great new recipes, but I also learned about the induction wok. All the recipes for today's cooking instructions and demonstrations can be found on the event website at sceheritageevents.com. So if you want to give them a try, be sure to go to the website. Well, I hope you enjoyed this morning's pre-event show with Brian and Lauren. We have a great lineup of speakers that are waiting to share their stories with us today. But that is not all. As a special treat, you will have an opportunity to win one of Lauren's cookbooks later in the show. You will receive instructions on how to win in a few moments, so be sure to stick around to enter and see if your name is announced. Now the big question is, are we ready to start the main event? Let me hear you say. Awesome. I am honored to welcome you to the 2021 Virtual Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month event. Once again, I am Sarah Wang, owner, founder, and principal planner for My Wedding Songbird. The theme to this year's event is Solidarity and Resilience, honoring our history, forging a future together. At this note, I would like to share a little bit of my personal story. My family and I moved to the US about 2 decades ago, and to be honest, it was tough growing up here not knowing much English. I was getting bullied at school, and teachers didn't know how to pronounce my Chinese name correctly. I was shy with low self-esteem. However, fast forward to now, we're at our 5th year of our wedding planning business, and I'm truly grateful that I have the privilege to share and serve and connect with more Chinese American in our community all these years. There's a saying in our industry that I think that fits perfectly with our theme, that is community over competition. As fellow Asian American Pacific Islanders, let's be united to work together and support one another to create that solidarity amongst ourselves and forge a brighter future for the next generation together. Today, you'll get to hear different viewpoints from our speakers of the importance of solidarity and resilience and ways we can work together to make the Asian American Pacific Islander community and every community a better place to live. Now, to kick off today's event, I am pleased to introduce the President and CEO of Edison International, Pedro J. Pizarro. In addition to running Edison International, he is the chairman of the board for Electric Power Research Institute's board of directors. He is vice chair for Edison Electric Institute, and he sits on the board for Argonne National Laboratory, Caltech, and the Analysis and Resilience Center for Systemic Risk. Pedro represents the electric industry on the Secretary of Energy Advisory Board and co-chairs the SEAB Innovation Working Group. In addition, he serves on the Electricity Subsector Coordinating Council and has served on California Governor Gavin Newsom's task force on business and jobs recovery. Pedro earned a PhD in chemistry from the California Institute of Technology and held National Science Foundation and Department of Defense graduate fellowships. He earned a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Harvard University. Please join me in welcoming Pedro.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your story of solidarity and resilience. On behalf of the senior leadership team at Edison International and SCE, I'm honored to participate in this celebration of you, our business and community partners. Unfortunately, we were not able to have this event last year due to the pandemic. Today, however, we are excited that so many of you are able to join this first virtual Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. We start with some thank yous. Thank you to Sarah Wong, Lauren Tran, and Tamlin Tomita for kicking off today's event. I'd like to thank our guest speakers, Susan Jin Davis, and Congress members Young Kim and Judy Chu. Also like to thank our keynote speaker, California's first Filipino-American Attorney General, Rob Banta. And thank you to East West Entertainment and Yu Oka for the musical performances. We're celebrating virtually today because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although infection rates here in California and across the United States continue to head in the right direction, sadly, parts of Asia, such as India, are still being devastated by this terrible disease. We know many of you have family and friends there, and our thoughts remain with everyone who is suffering and everyone who has lost someone close to them. This event is an important opportunity to recognize our solidarity with and the resiliency of the AAPI community. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have made immense contributions to art, food, culture, literature, science, education, and so many other aspects of society. We are better together when we embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is why it is a priority at Edison. In fact, we just issued our 2020 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Report, which highlights our commitments, our progress, and our areas for improvement. I encourage you to take a look at edison.com. We will also continue to show solidarity with the AAPI community and speak out against anti-Asian hate and violence. One of the best ways to support our communities is to support those in our communities. Many Asian American and Pacific Islander-owned small businesses have suffered over the past year. Some have been able to pivot and adjust, yet many mom and pop businesses are still struggling. Our headquarters in Rosemead is in the heart of the San Gabriel Valley, an area with a high concentration of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and some of the best Asian food in the country. I would encourage everyone to shop local and support some of the many nearby Asian American and Pacific Islander-owned small businesses. My family and I live in Pasadena, and trust me, we have been supporting those small restaurants and continue to do so. In the meantime, Edison remains committed to helping all communities during these unprecedented times, which remain difficult for so many. If you are having trouble paying your bill, we encourage you to contact our SCE Customer Contact Center. You may qualify for a reduced energy rate through our CARE or FARA programs. If you are a small business customer, you may also qualify for the CARES Act Paycheck Protection Program, which will provide 100% federally guaranteed loans to small businesses. You can find information about these programs on SCE.com. Well, before I close, I want to offer congratulations to today's award winners who will be announced throughout the program. They all embody solidarity and demonstrate the resilience that we are honoring today. In that spirit, we will continue to forge an affordable and inclusive clean energy future, build safe and healthy communities, and provide opportunities accessible to all. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of our AAPI Heritage Month virtual celebration. And now I'd like to welcome back Sarah.
Thank you, Pedro, for being a great leader and truly supporting the communities in which you serve. I would like to thank Southern California Edison for having me as your pre-event host for this year's Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. This was my first time participating in SCE's AAPI event, and I hope to meet many of you in person at next year's event. I had fun celebrating with you this morning and watching some great cooking demos with Brian and Lauren. They cooked up some great dishes and made me hungry just watching, for sure. And now, I would like to introduce you your MC for the day. Tamlin Tomita is perhaps best known for her role in The Karate Kid Part 2, which is enjoying its renaissance due to the popularity of Cobra Kai on Netflix. Other projects she is known for are the films The Joy Luck Club, The Day After Tomorrow, and Come See the Paradise. Tamlin has also been on several TV shows such as The Good Doctor, The Man in the High Castle, Teen Wolf, Berlin Station, How to Get Away with Murder, Glee, True Blood, Eureka, Heroes, Criminal Minds, and 24. A native to Los Angeles and a proud Asian American Pacific Islander embracing her Okinawa, Japanese, and Filipino heritages, she continually advocates for stories to be told from a golden perspective. Most importantly, she is a proud and loyal UCLA Bruin. Let's welcome Tamlin Tomita.
Thank you so very much, Sarah, for that wonderful introduction, and to Southern California Edison for having me as this year's MC for such a unique and important celebration. And good morning to everyone. Welcome to Southern California Edison's first ever virtual Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. I'm so thrilled and so honored to serve as your MC for this wonderful event. And I'm honored to help celebrate with you all the contributions, successes, and accomplishments of our Asian American Pacific Islander community organizations and businesses. The theme for this year's event is Solidarity and Resilience, honoring our history, forging our future together. It's my honor to be able to serve as your MC in this year, 2021, as we all reemerge joyously together as we come out to the new world post-pandemic, celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month with all the social justice movements that are trying to move us forward together. And in collecting all our stories when we are able to meet face to face, person to person, collectively in small groups, and hopefully larger in our larger groups together, that we are able to share our stories of our hearts, of our learnings, of the unique challenges that we face as Americans of a whole diaspora of nationalities, cultures, and heritages, but we specifically looked into the month of May in celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It is my true honor to be able to share my Okinawan, Filipino, and Japanese history amongst all you wonderful, beautiful, golden people of Asian American and Pacific Islander heritage. So it is my pleasure to lead you through this morning's events in celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We have a wonderful and a great event lined up today with even more stories of solidarity and resilience for all of you to celebrate together today. But before we start, we have some important safety messages to pass along to you. The COVID-19 virus has hit every part of our entire world in so many devastating ways. Many of us have lost our jobs, lost their businesses, and unfortunately, some have lost family members, which is why it is so important that we each do our part in stopping the spread of this virus. We would like to remind each and every one of you to please continue to wear your masks correctly by covering your nose and your mouth. Although many have been vaccinated, this is not the time to get lax on these safety precautions. Remember, it's not just for your safety, but the safety for every single one of us that you are in contact with. In addition, May and especially June are the peak months when metallic balloons are an issue with power outages. For your safety and for the safety of others, metallic balloons should never be released outdoors. They should always be tied to a weight. Stores and vendors should only sell properly weighted balloons. Balloon owners should never remove the weights. Never try to retrieve balloons tangled in power lines or electrical equipment. Puncture balloons, please, before disposing of them. If we all follow these tips, we can avoid disruptions to thousands of people and businesses, as well as other safety risks caused by metallic balloons. Hopefully, you have all had a chance to check out our event website, where Southern California Edison highlighted some Asian American Pacific Islander restaurants in the San Gabriel Valley, the SGV. You will find a wide varietal range of delicious restaurants, I promise you, to support and to try out. Since we're not able to share a meal with each other today, we hope you all get a chance to taste some of the delicious food that's out there from these local spots, and check them out soon. Our social media hashtags today are hashtag SCE AAPIHM 2021 and hashtag AAPI Heritage Month. We invite you to post about your experience today and use the hashtags, please, so we can all follow along. If y'all got dressed up today for today's virtual event, let's see what you got on. Also, press that button like on Facebook and follow SCE, Southern California Edison, on Twitter and Instagram as well. As Sarah Wang mentioned in this morning's pre-event show, we will be giving away some great door prizes at the end of the program. From now until 11 a.m., if you'd like to be in on the drawing for one of the eight lucky 8 door prizes, type in the word prize in the comments. 4 lucky winners will receive Lauren Tran's cookbook, Asian Cooking Made Easy, and another 4 lucky winners will receive Lauren Tran's second cookbook titled The Little Book of Asian Noodles. If you are one of the lucky winners, be sure to email your name and address by May 12th to SCE Business Customer Events at SCE.com. Once again, please, if you're one of the lucky winners, be sure to email by May 12th to SCE Business Customer Events at SCE.com. Winners will be announced at the end of our program. Wishing everybody good luck! All right, let's keep the celebration going. Our next guest is a beloved community leader in my world, so I'm so truly honored to introduce to you Susan Jin Davis, former Chief Sustainability Officer, CSO of Comcast NBC Universal. With over 25 years of experience in communications, media, entertainment, and technology industries. Susan was responsible for identifying sustainable strategies and priorities and for implementing the company's sustainability program across all of Comcast NBC Universal business units and functions. Susan created the framework for the company's environmental, social, and governance disclosures and established Comcast NBC Universal's renewable energy strategy and implemented energy efficiency initiatives across Comcast Cable, NBC Universal, and Comcast Spectator. Plus, Susan created Comcast NBC Universal's zero waste strategy, and she co-led its future of fleet strategy, transforming the company's fleet to low-carbon vehicles. Susan is recognized by Forbes magazine as one of the 5 women of color who should be on your radar screen and one of the top 50 most influential minorities in cable by Cable World for many years. She holds a Juris Doctor degree from the Dickinson School of Law of Penn State University and serves on the board of Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Study, or APEX, Asian Pacific Islander American Chamber of Commerce, and Entrepreneurship, National ACE, and the Juvenile Law Center and Board of Trustees for her alma mater, Bryn Mawr College. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my true honor to welcome you to this wonderful, incredible woman who I have modeled a leader in a certain role that I play on TV. I disclosed to her in secret that I modeled my character on The Good Doctor after her. Leadership skills, the warmth, and the personality after her. And she is one person that I emulate, and one that all can emulate for her compassion and her passion in leading not only in the business world, but her personal world as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you in introducing Susan Jin Davis.
Thank you, Tamlin, for that great introduction, and I appreciate the invitation from Southern California Edison to be part of your Asian Pacific Islander American Heritage Month celebration. It is such an honor. So I have got 4 things that I often talk about that have been guideposts for me, and I'm hoping that they are helpful for you as well. They work really well with the themes of your celebration, which are around resilience and solidarity. The first bit of advice I have is to use your voice, not only for yourself, which is incredibly important because you are your best advocate, but also for others, to empower others around you. For whatever reason, AAPIs are often the forgotten minority. We are often invisible. If we are using our voices, they aren't being heard. Whether it is in the stories that are being told about what it's like to be American, whether it is in the movies and the TV shows that we watch, it seems that we're surrounded by stereotypes and biases that fail to recognize us and fail to see us. And sometimes we just don't speak for ourselves. We don't speak up. And I don't know if it's because we have started to believe the hype about being the forever foreigner, because we don't feel like we're from here, because we've heard this all our life. I don't know if it's because of the model minority myth that has seeped into our brains and made us think that we're doing great, we're doing okay, we don't need to speak up because there's nothing that we need, despite the facts of many of us who are not living the American dream or not gaining access to the things that they ought to have as American citizens, if they're not getting basic rights and privileges. Whatever the reason is, we need to speak up and we need to use our voices. As the late, great John Lewis said, when you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have to say something. You have to do something. The stakes are higher than ever. You know, the AAPI community is under attack. Some of us are dying or being assaulted or being otherwise negatively implicated because of who we are. And we need to learn how to advocate for ourselves and to speak up against what is wrong and to be there for all of our members and for others. The second thing that I often think about is the fact that we ought to be confident and proud of ourselves for being APIs. That in fact, who we are, how we grew up, the cultures, the religions, the things that we've learned all of our lives, our ancestors, all of this gives us immense superpowers that have the ability to make us successful not only at work in corporate America, but also in life. Things like resilience, the ability to face any adversity, any difficulty with grace, with grit, with style, with a stick-with-itness, the inner strength that's necessary to get something done. Problem solving. How many times have we been asked to solve problems for our families, for our communities, and we've been able to do it like it's second nature? The ability to communicate. How many times have we had to speak for others? I grew up having to accompany my father when he was meeting with a landlord for an apartment for my uncle, or when he was trying to register one of my cousins for school. I was only a child, but I learned early on that I needed to know how to use words and to influence and persuade in order to help my family. So many of these traits, so many of these skills come to us because we are APIs. We just need to unleash them, and we will be amazed at the things that we're able to do because of who we are. I read a quote recently that really resonated on this point. Make your own shapes instead of contorting into boxes that weren't ever designed for us. These shapes are our talents and identities. So be proud of yourself. The third thing is take others with you. Whether it's because when you were coming up, you didn't have anybody that looked like you that lent a hand, or whether it's because you stood on the shoulders of so many others. Whether it's people who look like you or don't look like you, whether it's on the shoulders of your parents or your community members or your ancestors. You can't do it alone. And so help the next one, and you will be amazed at how you as an individual can empower another person. Maya Angelou's quote speaks to me on this point. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And the final thing I want to talk to you about is to give back to your community. There's a Buddhist meme out there where a student asks her teacher, "How are we to treat others?" The teacher said, "There are no others. We are all one community. We are part of a community that is our family, a community that is our neighborhood and our town and our city, in our state and in our country, and we're part of a global community. And whether your community is among people that are like you or not, leave it better than you got it. And do one thing better than that, expand your community to include even more people, to lift up more people and to affirm more people. Because that is the world's work for us to do, to stop the division, to create unity, to create solidarity, not only amongst ourselves as APIs, but in the world community. And I'll end with one of my favorite quotes of Martin Luther King Jr. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. So, use your voice. Be proud of who you are. Give back to the next one. And give to your community. And if we do this together in solidarity, using our vast skills, which include resilience and grit and strength, imagine the world that we can create together. So, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and continue to celebrate who you are and who others are and how we can build community.
Thank you so very much for your message, Susan. I have the privilege of knowing you personally and knowing how you communicate to everyone on a personal level as well as a professional level. And I hope that each and every one of you watching today get a chance to meet this incredible dynamo in person, such as persons like Ronnie, who's behind the scenes in this event today and across all these platforms. I just hope that you get moved by her leadership and just being a pal, a girl pal, a gal pal. Thank you for your message, Susan. Your message really resonates with me because throughout my career, I've experienced the lack of representation or misinformation about being a Pacific Islander Asian American in the film and television industry. Too often we are portrayed as the model citizen or whatever directors perceive us being or our culture to be, which in most cases is inaccurate or a combination of multiple cultures smashed into one. We just want to be authentic. We want to be real. We want to be seen. And your voice is so powerful in making sure that our voices are heard and our faces being seen, and that we are all sharing the same heritage as American citizens in this country. I now use my voice to teach others and provide clarity when the AAPI community is being represented, so we can change and move forward as we correct the inaccuracies and present a more real, authentic, truer, funner, and more honest picture going forward. And now to share a few messages and announce our first awardee is Kevin M. Payne, President and Chief Executive Officer for Southern California Edison. With more than 30 years with SCE, Payne has held various leadership positions, including Senior Vice President of Customer Service, Vice President of Engineering and Technical Services, and Vice President of Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP. Kevin also serves as a member of the Electric Innovation Management Committee of the Edison Electric Institute, the Los Angeles Sustainability Leadership Council, and the Southern California Leadership Council. Kevin also has a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of California, Berkeley, and is a registered professional engineer. Let's all welcome Kevin M. Payne.
Thank you, Tamlin, and good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today, and I want to thank you for joining us to celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I want to directly acknowledge that for the past several months, the Asian community has faced several tragic events. We stand together with our Asian Pacific Islander colleagues and community as a company and as individuals against all forms of hate, intolerance, and discrimination. At Edison, we believe that we cannot reach our full potential as a company or society without understanding, respecting, and unleashing the value of the diversity of our communities. Advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI for short, is a core area of focus for our company. Our commitment to progress in this area rests on a strong foundation of our company values, specifically respect for each other and our differences, and integrity, which reinforces the importance of delivering on our commitments and handling issues openly and directly. We believe it is so important to be transparent about where we are with our DEI commitment and the opportunities we have to continuously improve. We're now sharing detailed information on the diversity of our workforce and business partners, as well as the status of our community investments. Our goal is to create a positive, equitable, and inclusive work environment for all team members and build increased opportunities in the diverse communities we serve. The Asian Pacific Islander community is no exception. We proudly support SCE's Asian Pacific Islander Business Resource Group, ASCEND, which works with various community organizations that work against anti-Asian racism or hate crimes, such as StopAAPIHate.org. In March, Edison International signed the Equal Pay Pledge to further demonstrate our commitment to pay equity. Finally, I'm proud to share that we are also committing $100,000 of shareholder funds to nonprofit organizations with a specific focus on anti-Asian racism and discrimination. Okay, enough about SCE. Today is a celebration of the Asian American Pacific Islander community. Let's start by celebrating a local business that is a champion of supplier diversity. This year, we are proud to give the Diverse Business Enterprise Award to IW Group Incorporated. IW Group is an agency that is devoted to multicultural communities throughout the country. The firm prides itself on creating culturally relevant advertising, marketing, and public relations campaigns. Let's hear more about IW Group.
I'm Nita Song. I'm President and Chief Momentum Officer of IW Group. IW Group is a marketing, PR advertising agency. We've been in business for 30 plus years. We've had the privilege of partnering with SCE for over a dozen years. We first began as their Asia marketing agency. We're very fortunate to win the total market media business. And most recently, this past year, we just gained the total market media and creative business. Initially, when COVID started, our business saw a pause, like many other companies. Our clients were pausing their business and sort of re-strategizing. At that time, it gave us time to focus on community, because at that time we saw a big rise, unfortunately, in anti-Asian hate. So our team quickly produced a PSA, started some outreach and support in the community. In addition to that, we supported some initiatives specifically focused on API small businesses, who were some of the most impacted in terms of COVID.
My name is Bill Amata. I'm Chairman and Chief Connectivity Officer of IW Group. IW Group devotes at least 10 to 15,000 pro bono hours each and every year to support the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. We also serve on more than 30 boards and advisory councils, not only in California, but throughout the country. And over the course of the years, we've actually helped create 4 national organizations that serve the community today. Solidarity and diversity, inclusion, and resiliency are all really important for a variety of reasons. For the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, it's important for 2 reasons. We're always viewed as model minorities. Label makes us invisible. If we're going to be great advocates, great allies, and great people behind solidarity, that we have to tell our stories better. And we also have to invite other people to tell their stories with us. The other thing that we need to dispel is this belief that we're perpetual foreigners. We are here to stay in this country, and so solidarity becomes even more important when we pull our allies in and we ask our allies to say Asian American and Pacific Islander, because we do not wish to be invisible any longer.
We just want to take a minute to thank SCE for this honor. For as long as we can remember, SCE has been such an active partner in the community, supporting so many groups, so many important initiatives. I think one thing SCE does really well is enable success, and we are an example of that. So we just want to take a minute to say thank you.
Congratulations to IW Group as this year's Diverse Business Enterprise Awardee. Southern California Edison believes that achieving our goals for a clean energy future is a collaborative effort that requires diverse ideas and local, regional, and national partnerships. We are committed to supporting small and diverse firms by helping them gain access to contract opportunities in traditional and new sourcing areas. In doing so, we bring economic benefits and new job opportunities to the communities where we all live and operate. Thank you again for joining us today. Please continue to stay safe, and happy Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Congratulations to the IW Group as this year's Diverse Business Enterprise honoree. And thank you, Kevin, for your commitment of $100,000 of shareholder funds to nonprofit organizations that focus on anti-Asian racism and discrimination. It is unfortunate that as a society we are experiencing these challenges, but I am confident, I am truly confident that with strong corporate and community partners, we will get through this and we will be stronger together. We need to stay strong in solidarity and to continue to be resilient. Our next guest is Young Kim, Congresswoman for the 39th District, an immigrant, small business owner, community leader, and mother. Young is proud to be one of the first Korean American women ever to serve in Congress. Young started her public service as Director of Community Relations and Asian Affairs for former Congressman Ed Royce, California District 39. Prior to serving in Congress, Young was the first ever Korean American Republican woman to serve in the California State Assembly, where she fought to grow jobs, support small businesses, ensure public safety, promote educational opportunities, support veterans, and protect victims of domestic violence. Let's all welcome Congresswoman Young Kim.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Young Kim, representing California's 39th District. That includes parts of Los Angeles, Orange, and San Bernardino counties. I want to thank Tamlin for the introduction and Southern California Edison for having me today as we commemorate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and also as we celebrate CNT Properties, which manages properties in Orange and Los Angeles counties. The theme of this event, Solidarity and Resilience, honoring our history, forging a future together, is very fitting as we celebrate Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Throughout the month of May, we honor the generations of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who paved the way for someone like me as an immigrant from South Korea, and so many others, to have a seat at the table and our voices be heard. We celebrate the millions of our Asian American Pacific Islander community in making a difference in their communities across the nation and making the United States a better place. We also commit to supporting the Asian American Pacific Islander community for future generations. This Asian Pacific American Heritage Month comes at a time when bias and hate targeting our community is on the rise, and it is more important than ever for us to lift up Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Asian Americans are Americans, and Asian American issues are American issues. We have seen during the COVID-19 pandemic that the virus does not discriminate. It has impacted each and every one of us. Through resilience and solidarity, and by coming together as Americans, I have faith that we will come out stronger from this pandemic than we were ever before. And now, I'd like to recognize the Clean Energy Champion Award. This award recognizes a company that has shown significant or remarkable savings through clean energy installations in partnership with Southern California Edison. CNT Properties invests and manages real estate properties in the Los Angeles and Orange County areas, including the 67,000 square foot of H Mart Shopping Plaza in the city of Garden Grove. Congratulations! Now let's hear more about CNT Properties.
My name is Charles Lee, and I'm the president of CNT Properties, LLC. CNT Properties is a real estate investment company. Also, we manage our properties on our own because we have a property management company, and we manage the property that we own, such as H Mart Shopping Center in Garden Grove. I am the board member of KCCOC, which stands for Korean Americans Chamber of Commerce of Orange County. As a board member, I participate in the events and the meetings where I provide guidance and many Korean American business owners. I also taught classes in real estate for Korean American business owners interested in studying their business in the industry.
My name is Richard Lee, and I'm the property manager for CNT Properties, LLC. Working with Southern California Edison through their Charge Ready program, we were able to install 4 fast charging stations. We were able to save a lot in terms of the costs of construction and infrastructure that we needed in order to install those fast charging stations. Without the help of Southern California Edison, we wouldn't have been able to install those fast charging stations due to the cost just being too high.
Our business is solely close to the success of our retail. Small business owners are the majority of our tenants, and they have been most impacted by COVID. When COVID initially hit, Many businesses were struggling due to the sudden lockdowns and no assistance being provided by the governments. In order to ease the tenant burden to many of our tenants, we provide our tenants with rent abatement, no questions asked, so that they will be able to get through these difficult times.
You know, our history as Asian Americans is pretty incredible. My father and grandfather came to the United States not knowing a word in English, and he, worked a lot of jobs trying to provide for his family, and all of his hard work ended up establishing a place in America for us. This story isn't that unique to my family, and a lot of Asians are either immigrants or descendants of immigrants, and they have very similar stories. I think this is such a wonderful story to be able to tell people, and especially with the recent hate and violence towards Asian Americans. It's heartbreaking at times, but I'm reassured by the fact that, we're able to support one another, and that during these difficult times, the need to stick together has become very apparent, and our future in America relies in our solidarity and resilience as a community.
Thank you for your message, Congresswoman Young Kim. You are right. We will get through this pandemic and we will come out stronger. We've been going strong now for about an hour, so let's all take a break to refresh our coffee or tea, perhaps get a snack, or just get up and stretch. Here to entertain us during this break is East West Entertainment. East West Entertainment has performed classical and original repertoires on Chinese and Western instruments in numerous concerts and soundtracks. This group also performs programs for educational entertainment and cultural enrichment in programs featuring music, dancing, and acrobatics. They have been featured in numerous concerts and soundtracks for over 2 decades at such performances with the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra, San Francisco Symphony, Los Angeles Opera, and for DreamWorks Animation Kung Fu Panda 3, 20th Century Fox TV movie Bones, and Disney's Mickey Mouse cartoon Year of the Dog, just to name a few. They also provide soundtrack music for online games such as World of Warcraft, Mists of Pandaria, and the Xbox game Jade Empire. Their members include Cynthia Xiang, Teresa Wong, Yanjung Chen, Yun Li, and the composer and founder Jiming Han. Let's all enjoy and hear their wonderful performance.
Thank you, Tamlin, for the introduction. And thank you, Edison, for having us for your Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. you enjoy our performance today and enjoy the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration. Thank you very much.
East West Entertainment, thank you so very much for that incredibly beautiful performance. What great music to listen to during the break. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. We are a little more than halfway done with this program, and I'd like to breathe in and take this moment to introduce to you our next guest, an incredibly important woman and leader in my life as well. She was my Asian American Woman Studies professor at UCLA, and she serves currently as the Congress member representing the 27th District, Congresswoman Judy Chu. Congressman Chu currently serves on the powerful House and Ways Committee, and in this committee, Judy is a member of the subcommittees on health, giving her experienced oversight over health care reform and crucial safety net programs, worker and family support, and oversight. She also serves on the House Small Business Committee, which has oversight of the Small Business Administration, and is the chair of the Small Business Oversight Subcommittee. In 2009, she became the first Chinese American woman elected to Congress in U.S. history. Join me in welcoming the illustrious, super powerful, incredibly wonderful, inspirational woman, Congress member Judy Chu.
Hello and happy Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and as the representative from the District of the Southern California Edison headquarters, and as chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, or what we call KPAC, I'm so thrilled to be a part of today's virtual celebration of Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And I want to thank SoCal Edison for organizing this celebration and bringing us all together. This has truly been a year unlike any other, and that is especially true for the AAPI community, with AAPIs more likely to be working in frontline jobs and living in communities without access to quality health care. AAPIs have been paying a higher price for the coronavirus pandemic, with disproportionately high infection and mortality rates, especially in the Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander community. And due to misinformation and xenophobia around the virus, Asian-owned businesses were some of the first to lose customers, leading to small business closures and some of the highest rates of long-term unemployment in the country. And finally, there near daily tragedies of anti-Asian violence. In fact, there have been over 3,800 reported anti-Asian hate crimes and incidents in the past year alone. This spate of violence, including the horrific shootings at 3 Asian-owned spas in Georgia, has shocked our nation, waking the country up to the reality of anti-Asian bigotry and violence. But finally, there are conversations happening in every community about the needs and experiences of AAPIs, including in the highest office in the land, the Oval Office. Just last month, the President invited me and other AAPI leaders to join him in the White House to discuss the needs of the AAPI community. And in his first address to a joint session of Congress last week, he reiterated his support for the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, legislation introduced by Representative Grace Meng and Senator Mazie Hirono to improve hate crimes tracking, which also includes the text of my bill, the No Hate Act, to provide more hate crimes resources and training to local law enforcement. But while I'm grateful that after years of being invisible, AAPIs are finally being included in national conversations, it's important that we not only talk about our community through the lens of hate crimes. This Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, I also want to make sure people know about our accomplishments and contributions as well. For instance, I'm so proud that this year there are a record 21 AAPI members of Congress, our highest ever. And how incredible is it that this January we swore in Kamala Harris as our first woman, Black, and Asian vice president in history. Yes, understanding the AAPI community must include an understanding of the prejudice and violence we face, like the Chinese Exclusion Act and the imprisonment of Japanese Americans during World War II. But that's only half the picture. To truly understand us, we also need to talk about how, despite these prejudices, AAPIs enlisted to serve our country in the military, fought for civil rights, and continue to shape this country. And that is why when we were in the Oval Office with President Biden, we also urged him to make sure that AAPI history is incorporated into the educational curriculum taught in schools so that students grow up with an understanding of our history and contributions. And we also pushed for the creation of a Smithsonian Museum for Asian American and Pacific Islander history in Washington, D.C. The new attention being paid to the AAPI community is an opportunity to help educate more Americans about who we are and celebrate all we've done. And I'm so grateful to you for hosting this event today and starting this conversation. Thank you again for all you do for our area, from promoting clean energy to celebrating the diversity that makes us so strong. Happy Asian Pacific American Heritage Month.
Thank you so very much for your always inspirational words, Congresswoman Judy Chu. It is always so great to see so many leaders sharing their stories, their experiences, their pains, their joys, and triumphs of support of not only the AAPI communities, but all communities across the board. We all know that great change starts from the top, and you have always led from the top. Next up, we have Caroline Choi, Edison's Senior Vice President of Corporate Affairs. Caroline is responsible for overseeing government affairs, public affairs, corporate communications, and corporate philanthropy on national, state, and local levels. Before joining SCE in 2012, Caroline was Executive Director of Environmental Services and Strategy at Progress Energy, now Duke Energy, where she was responsible for leading environmental permitting, compliance, and policy. Caroline is active in national policy and community engagement, where she serves on the board of the Smart Electric Power Alliance, a nationwide organization that supports utilities in the implementation and deployment of clean energy and distributed resources. She also chairs the board of Velos, a nonprofit dedicated to accelerating the shift to electric transportation through public/private collaboration and public engagement. In addition, she serves on the boards of the Electric Transportation Community Development Corporation, Los Angeles Business Council, and National Forest Foundation. Let us all welcome Caroline Choi.
Thank you, Tamlin, for that great introduction, and thanks to all of you for joining us today for our annual API Heritage Month celebration. I'm delighted to be here as we celebrate you, our businesses, and community partners for what you do to help inspire a brighter future for everyone in our great state. Building a brighter future also drives what we do at Edison, and every day we are inspired by you and the communities in which we live and serve. This has really been driven home these past 14 months. I've been inspired to see the sense of community, the outreach to help ensure the physical and mental well-being of others, the direct support for those affected by COVID-19 and other challenges. It's really been wonderful to see it. At Edison, we understand the important relationship between businesses and the communities. Strong communities are good for business, and strong businesses help communities thrive. It's one reason for our long history of corporate giving and volunteerism. As we safely deliver affordable, reliable electricity, we're proud to help make a difference in our communities. Edison International is one of the largest corporate donors in Southern California. For over 130 years, we've partnered with local nonprofits. And we strive to target 80% of our giving to underserved communities to help them tackle timely, tough issues, such as improving air quality and helping conserve or even create green spaces, public safety and emergency preparedness, and helping kids studying science, technology, engineering, and math for STEM subjects. An example of this is the Edison Scholars program. Since 2006, Edison International has awarded more than $11 million in scholarships to 670 students to support their college studies in STEM. Over the last 3 years, an average of 28% of scholarships were awarded to students of Asian or Pacific Islander descent. The program reflects our commitment to the communities we serve by recognizing and supporting students who have a passion for making a difference in the future of our ever-changing world. Now, let's take a look at our 2021 Edison Scholars.
Each year, Edison International awards $40,000 scholarships to 30 high school seniors living in Southern California Edison's service area. We are proud to present our 2021 Edison Scholars.
I'm Vanessa Mesclin.
My name is Omar Bahana.
Hello, my name is Kania Boucher. And
hi, I'm Slim Budai.
My name is Isaiah Brooks.
My name is Junior Berg.
Hello, my name is Pedro Calderon.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Canchola Martinez.
Hello, my name is Stanley Chan.
Hi, my name is Aiden Chavez.
Hi, my name is Brian Dario de Leon Vazquez.
My name is Joshua Kang.
My name is Markina Abdikima.
Hi, I'm Jared Frazier.
Hey, my name is Nicole Iftikhar.
Hi, my name is Chey and Clara Kim.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine Leva.
Hi, my name is Noemi Liu.
Hello, my name is Nessie Manhano.
Hi, my name is Sophia Mirza and
Hi, I'm Malia Mitchell.
Hello, my name is Samaya Mohameder.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Peralta Sanchez.
Hello, I'm Mariana Robles.
Hello, my name is Jonah Freedom Sampson.
Hello, my name is Dom Teach.
Hello, my name is Gideon Talahan.
Hello, my name is Raul Torres Jr.
Hello, my name is Yoseng.
My name is Gustavo Valenzuela.
Congratulations! Your future is bright.
Each year when we issue these scholarships, I am heartened by the potential we see in our young people. I know our future is in great hands. These future leaders will bring new ideas, invent new ways to do things, apply new technologies, and transform our economy and world in positive ways that we have yet to imagine. The way we do things is changing, and these students are already leading that change. And Edison will continue to be here in whatever way we can. Now, it gives me great pleasure to present the recipient of the Community Partnership Award to an organization that has provided notable, long-standing, innovative, and crucial services to the API community. This year, we're recognizing the Asian Pacific Policy and Planning Council, or APCON, as our 2021 Community Partnership honoree. Congratulations. Created in 1975, APCON is a coalition of community-based organizations that advocates for the rights and needs of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community, with a focus on low-income, immigrant, refugee, and other disadvantaged sectors of our community. Their contributions to our society are immeasurable and go beyond California. Most recently, in March of last year, APCON, alongside Chinese for Affirmative Action and the Asian American Studies Department at San Francisco State University, launched the Stop AAPI Hate Reporting Center in response to the disturbing increase of anti-Asian discrimination and xenophobia incidents. Under the leadership of Manju Kulkarni, whose life motto is the very fitting, "I'm nice, I'm reasonable, but don't mess with me," Stop AAPI Hate has since become a rallying call and one of the go-to centers that tracks and responds to anti-Asian racism. Since launching last year, they have recorded over 3,700 incidents of hate against AAPIs happening across the United States and are working to advocate for local, state, and national policies that reinforce human rights and civil protections for all. Here's a quick video of APCON and the important work they do.
My name is Manju Kulkarni. I'm the Executive Director of the Asian Pacific Policy and Planning Council and co-founder of Stop AAPI Hate. APCON is a coalition of over 40 community-based organizations that together serve and represent the 1.5 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in Los Angeles County. COVID has had tremendous impacts on APCON and our member organizations. And what our organizations did is try to provide resources. It's so important to understand our history in this moment because we realize that actually this is not the first time our community members have experienced hate. We look back all the way to the 1800s and the Chinese Exclusion Act. And then when we got to the 1900s, there was the Dusky Peril against individuals like myself who are South Asian American, really prevented individuals from most of Asia from coming to the United States. Then we had the Japanese American incarceration. So knowing all of this, we understand this is the latest iteration, but it helps us also to understand the acts of resistance in the past and organizing. And we know that if we band together this time, we too can overcome. And I think the solidarity message is also important because we see that other communities are likewise hurting. So African American communities have really been beset by police violence. But unfortunately, those type of shootings and killings happen every single day against African Americans. And so it's important for us to show our solidarity to them and also our Latino sisters and brothers. Understanding our history and being in allyship with other communities is extremely critical. Community members are standing up to this type of hate, speaking out, and saying enough is enough, and that we are going to demand action for our policymakers. And I think with the Senate passing a bill against anti-Asian hate and efforts to address hate crimes, I think that is a positive first step. And we know that more needs to be done, and I feel really good that our community members will help to ensure that happens. Thank you so much to SCE for all of your support to APCON and Stop AAPI Hate, and we look forward to our continued relationship moving forward.
Congratulations, Manju and the dedicated team at APCON for working tirelessly to ensure the voice of our community is heard. Before I turn things back to Tamlin, I want to express my thanks once again for joining us today and for what you do. These are difficult times in our community, especially in light of the anti-Asian violence happening throughout the country. We stand by our API businesses, communities, and colleagues. As a first step, we have provided more than $100,000 in funding to nonprofits with a specific focus on anti-Asian racism and discrimination to help them with their work to address this crisis. Some of these nonprofits include APCON, of course, the Center for Asian Americans United for Self-Empowerment, or CAUSE, and Asian Americans Advancing Justice. Additionally, for the last several years, we have supported two important organizations, the California Asian Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus Institute and the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies, to help ensure that there is a pipeline of AAPI leaders representing our community at all levels of leadership. And finally, internally at Edison, we proudly support our AAPI Business Resource Group, Ascend, in their work to lift up the issues and voices of our AAPI colleagues. While we know that our actions will not solve all the problems, you have our commitment that we will continue to support and address issues related to racial discrimination where we can. More than ever, we appreciate everything that you are doing to safely support our communities. Now, back to you, Tamlin.
Congratulations, Asian Pacific Policy and Planning Council, A3PCon! And thank you, Caroline, for the information you shared. I never knew that Edison International is one of the largest corporate donors in Southern California, giving 80% or more to underserved communities. That is pretty phenomenal. And now, I would like to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Attorney General Rob Banta. Prior to his newly appointed role, Rob served as Assembly Member for the 18th District for the state of California. Rob was the first Filipino-American state legislature in California's then 160-plus year history. Rob grew up the son of activists, and they taught him to understand injustice and the importance of joining the struggle to empower vulnerable and disadvantaged communities. His father was involved in the civil rights movement and stood with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the Deep South, marching for equality and justice in Selma. His mother was and continues to be a longtime leader in the Filipino social justice movement. His legal career included work as a deputy city attorney for the city and county of San Francisco, where he fought to protect Californians from exploitation and racial profiling. Rob was undefeated at trial, never losing a jury verdict for his clients. In the state assembly, Rob served as the assistant majority leader. He served on the Appropriations, Communications and Conveyance, Governmental Organization, and Health committees. He has authored significant legislation that promotes and defends our California values of justice, inclusion, equity, and opportunity. Everyone, please give a joyous welcome to Attorney General Rob Banta.
Hi, I'm Rob Banta. For the last almost 9 years, I've served in the California State Assembly representing the great cities of Oakland, Alameda, and San Leandro. I'm proud to be the first Filipino American to serve in the state legislature, and I'm deeply honored and humbled to have been nominated by Governor Newsom to be, and recently sworn in as, California's Attorney General. Thank you to Southern California Edison for inviting me to say a few words about the unacceptable surge in hate violence towards the API community. Let me be clear, the API community is in a full-on state of crisis and state of emergency due to hate violence. In my own district, in Oakland's Chinatown, we've seen the horrific and vicious attacks on our beloved elders. Sadly, that violence is taking place all over California and the US. We know that in the last year plus, incidents of hate attacks have occurred an outrageous and unconscionable nearly 4,000 times, and we know that number is underreported. These are verbal attacks, being spit on, pushed down, punched in the face, slashed across the face, and even murdered. Our children are also suffering from racist bullying, and our elders, our beloved elders, have been attacked while on morning walks, running errands, riding the bus or subway. Our grandparents, our Lolos and Lolas, our Nai-Nais and Yayes, for them, life's daily routines have become luxuries that they can no longer afford to experience without fear of attack or assault. So many of us are fed up, sick and tired, and saying enough is enough. For many of us, this is personal. But I also feel hope because we are not standing by, we are not being silent, because rather than accept the unacceptable, we are fighting back, taking action, and providing solutions. There's so much that can be done, and everyone can do something. For my part, I can use the power of my office and the bully pulpit to see and value the communities that have been attacked and condemn and denounce the hate. It's important that leaders at all levels do the same. It's important to declare our values and what we stand for. The rhetoric we use as leaders is critical too. The former occupant of the White House, time and time again, used the biggest megaphone on the planet to push out messages of hate and cruelty, of xenophobia and racism. Chinese virus, Kung flu. We continue to suffer from that today. Our leaders should use language of respect, dignity, and inclusion, words that unite rather than divide, that honor our common humanity rather than sow the seeds of conflict. And of course, we'll take action. I will help law enforcement better identify and investigate hate crimes. I will meet with our API community throughout the state to talk about how to support community-based organizations that are on the ground doing the work. I will help strengthen services that help victims heal. And I will help improve reporting and tracking of hate crimes. There's a lot we can do immediately to help heal, support, and prevent. We need to be thoughtful and consistent with our values in how we respond, but we also need to stand up and make sure people are protected. So to the API community, I say, I value you, I see you, I am you. That will be one of my first priorities as Attorney General, to ensure those who are targeted by the forces of hate are protected and those who are responsible are held accountable. As Attorney General, these fights, your fights, will be my fights. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote in his letter from a Birmingham jail, we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Those powerful and eloquent words remain just as relevant and ring just as true today as they did decades ago, especially when one group is being targeted by hate violence. We're all connected, and we all have a role in stopping this abuse through our words and our actions. I'm grateful for the way diverse communities have stood up and stood side by side with the API community. Our siblings in the Black, Latino, Jewish, LGBTQ, and women's communities, thank you. An injustice against one is an injustice against all, and we're all in this together, unified, allied, and in solidarity. All communities deserve to be seen, to be valued, and to be protected. I'm confident that we will prevail against the forces of hate. You know, as we've seen these painful and horrific recent attacks against our API siblings, I've been thinking about a picture that hangs in my office. It shows a hotel lobby in 1920 Stockton, and there in the lobby is a sign with 4 words: positively no Filipinos allowed. Throughout California's history, so many of us have felt the sting of hate and intolerance. I've felt it. I know many of you have too. Too many of you. Asian, Latino, Black, and Native American Californians, LGBTQ, Jewish, Muslim, and Sikh communities. So many of us have faced attacks because of who we are, where we're from, and who we love. But that hate hasn't defined us or what we can achieve. In spite of hate, Californians have built the most diverse state and the world's most robust democracy. That 1920s hotel may have said positively no Filipinos allowed, but today in California, every person isn't just allowed, we belong. Here in California, we look out for each other. And as your Attorney General, I'll look out for each of you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your wonderful message. California, we're so lucky as Californians, aren't we? California Attorney General Rob Banta, and congratulations on your brand new spanking appointed role. Congratulations. It's so exciting to see the first Filipino-American Attorney General, is it not? And how awesome is it to see so many firsts in today's program? This is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal Friday. But although we have come so far, we still have so much to go forward together, united, arm in arm, linked hand in hand, which is why it's so important that we stick together like glue in solidarity and remain resilient in these troubling yet hopeful times. These tough times are going to pass, I guarantee you, I promise you, and struggle only makes us stronger. We've all heard some great, terrific, wonderful, fun stories and heard some beautiful music and seen some incredible acts and cooking and inspiring words from all our speakers today. Thank you to the fabulous SJD, Susan Jin Davis, Congresswoman Young Kim and Judy Chu, and Attorney General Rob Banta for their inspiring speeches and talks and sharing their personal stories of solidarity and resilience. We'd also like to thank the Edison executives, Pedro, Kevin, and Caroline, for supporting the Asian Pacific Islander community throughout the years and for celebrating our communities and cultures for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Thank you to our pre-event guests, Sarah Wong, Brian Choi. Sorry, I scrolled up too fast. Brian Choi and Lauren Tran for teaching and showing us some delicious Ono tasty dishes. And thank you to East West Entertainment for that beautiful music performance, and to you, Oka, for the beautiful music throughout today's program. And lastly, thank you to the hard work and the volunteers, to all the committee members for putting together this virtual event. Oh my God, it's such a wonderful event, and we did it in the comfort and safety of our homes, and for having me serve as your master of ceremonies. The event is almost over this morning, and it's time to announce the names of the winners of the door prizes. As mentioned earlier, only 4 lucky winners will receive Lauren Tran's cookbook titled Asian Cooking Made Easy, and the next 4 lucky winners will receive Lauren's second cookbook titled The Little Book of Asian Noodles. If you are one of the lucky winners, be sure to email your name and address by May 12th to SCE Business Customer Events at SCE.com. Again, that email address by May 12th is SCE Business Customer Events at SCE.com. Let me know you heard your name by responding in the chat if you happen to be watching so we can send you your prize. And good luck, everyone. And the winners are Sai Chung, Susanna Choi, Patty Poon, Dwight Nakata, Noah Arzola, Ron Chong, Amber Karaf, and lastly, Sam Look. Congratulations to every single one of you. Lucky 8, congratulations. Your prize will be shipped to you once we receive your name and address. And again, that address, that email address is SCE, Business Customer Events at SCE.com. And please mail your names and your addresses by May 12th. Everyone, I hope you all had a great time celebrating with us this lovely morning. And to close the event, we have a slideshow of submitted photos from participants at past events. All of you, please continue to be safe, wear a mask, and practice social distancing to stop this spread. And I hope to see every single one of you in the future. Goodbye, good luck, have a great Friday, have a great weekend in celebrating Happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month.